Most Haunted Places in Each State, Part 2. But first, thanks for leaving us this comment on our Haunted Places in Each State Part 1 video, and be sure to check out the other 25 states there. We're glad to finally present to you the horrifying Part 2 in this video. Number 25, Montana, Little Bighorn Battlefield. The state of Montana was home to a vicious battle that took place against the U.S. moving west and the Lakota Native American tribe. General Custer led an army of 700 men in one of the most embarrassing defeats in U.S. history. Witnesses of paranormal activity here claim to hear gunshots, Indian battle cries, and the sound of bugles. The eerie gravestones of those who lost their lives here still remain. Number 24, Nebraska, Alliance Theater. This building here in the photo was built in 1903 and was originally a charter hotel. When the spooky theater dims its lights in modern times, employees have witnessed shadowy figures by someone who was crushed by a lighting structure. Her spirit still performs as if nothing ever happened. Number 23, Nevada, Virginia City. Virginia City grew quickly in the 1850s and 60s after the huge discovery of the Comstock lode, which was a major silver deposit. But once the silver was gone, everyone fled the city, except for the ghosts. Located in the Sierra Nevada mountains near Reno, it's one of the best preserved mining towns in the U.S. The few residents who still live here cater to the tourists. There's plenty of creepy reported haunted places to explore, including the Barren Cemetery. One of the main attractions is the Bucket of Blood Saloon. It's here where you'll find the suicide table, where workers reported 4 cases of players losing so much money that they would commit suicide afterwards. Come here for a hand of poker, if you dare. Number 22, New Hampshire, Kimball Castle. Castles are just creepy in general, and this one here in New Hampshire allegedly won't let anyone try to restore it back to its former glory. A medieval-style castle was built here in 1920, and after it went abandoned for a while, a restoration effort was made. Vandals and even possibly ghosts have made this place nearly impossible to repair. Number 21, New Jersey, Leeds Point. This is the birthplace of the legendary New Jersey Devil that has wreaked havoc on the entire state. In 1735, a practicing witch gave birth to her 13th child at this location. She stated that she no longer wanted kids anymore, and she cursed the child during her pregnancy by saying, "May my 13th child be the devil." Others claim that when she finally gave birth, a terrifying bat-winged creature flew out of her and escaped through the chimney. Many still report seeing the Jersey Devil to this day. Number 20, New Mexico, Dawson. Another ghost town in the American desert, this one was home to a coal mining operation, and in 1923, a mysterious explosion took place, killing 263 men. It was one of the worst coal mining disasters in American history, and you better believe the ghosts of the men working that day are still lingering around. Then again, 10 years later, another coal mining disaster struck, and it just seems as though this place is truly cursed. Number 19, New York, Amytiville House. Located at 112 Ocean Avenue, this could be the most haunted house in the USA by a long shot. In 1974, a man named Ronald DeFeo shot and killed 6 members of his family in a cold-blooded fashion. A family bought the house for a bargain of only $80,000, but had no idea what they were getting themselves into. The man of the house, George, would wake up every morning at 3:15, which turned out to be the estimated time of the crime. The wife of the house would have reoccurring vivid nightmares of the murder scenes, and countless paranormal activities continued to happen. Family only stayed for 28 days before moving out. For more detail, check out the book, The Amytiville Horror, A True Story, or one of the movies. Number 18, North Carolina, the Carolina Theater. It appears as though North Carolina is home to quite a few haunted places, but the Carolina Theater has a crazy story to it. When the building was closed down for a while, it was set ablaze by a mentally unstable woman. During her moment of arson, she lit herself on fire and lost her life. People who come here report that her ghost still haunts the theater. Number 17, North Dakota, the Custer House. There seems to be some haunting of nearly everything associated with the Battle of Little Bighorn. The general we mentioned earlier by the name of Custer once lived at this home, and there's been several witnesses of paranormal activity here, including the ghost of Custer himself. Number 16, Ohio, Cincinnati Music Hall. We would put the Emmett House here, but this paranormal building mysteriously caught on fire and burned down. Now the most haunted place in Ohio is the Cincinnati Music Hall. This place was built in the former location of a mental insane asylum. Long history of crazy ghost sightings have occurred since the construction of this place. The bodies of those who lost their lives at the asylum that once stood here were not placed far away, and the music hall was built right over it. Workers here recently even discovered bones on the premises. Number 15. Oklahoma, Mcbride House. This abandoned private home in Fort Gibson, Oklahoma that we see in this photo is rumored to be occupied by numerous ghosts, and there's even a book written about it. An old letter was found by a previous owner who stated that at 2 a.m. the spirits in this house would throw a party. Noises of ghoulish laughter and other sounds have been reported at this mysterious site. Number 14. Oregon, Lafayette Cemetery. This century-old cemetery is rumored to be haunted by a woman who was tried for witchcraft at this location. Before she was burnt, it's said that she put a curse on the entire town, and since then, the town has experienced 2 blazing fires. Some visitors have even claimed that they've been physically attacked by ghosts here. Number 13. Pennsylvania-Gettysburg. Possibly the most haunted battlefield in the USA, it's the location of where a brutal battle took place during the Civil War. It's estimated that 50,000 lives were lost during 3 hot summer days. With a large amount of life needlessly lost here, it should come to no surprise that it's haunted. Many report hearing cannon blasts or gunfire late at night, as well as strange orbs of light. Number 12. Rhode Island, Old Brook Farm. If you're familiar with a movie known as The Conjuring, you should be fully aware of how truly haunted this place is. This film was loosely based on a true story. The parent family moved in here and began noticing paranormal activity right away. They went on to discover that the farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, was once inhabited by a witch that made sacrifices to the devil and cursed all those who would take her land before she took her own life in 1863. The parent family wrote a book about their experiences, and they're not surprised that some people don't believe their story. Number 11. South Carolina, Old Charleston Jail. This old jailhouse from the 19th century was rumored to be haunted by many inmates who had to do time here. One of the most notorious criminals was Lavinia Fisher, who was the first incarcerated female serial killer in the U.S. The jail closed in 1939, but the tales of ghosts here continue, and it was even featured on Ghost Hunters. Number 10. South Dakota-Bullock Hotel. Located in the historical city of Deadwood, it's been haunted since the day it opened in 1896. Visitors who've stayed here have reported hearing shattered glass, lights and faucets have mysteriously been turned on and off. Many will assure you that a ghost does live here, but he's said to be a friendly ghost, if there is such a thing. Number 9. Tennessee, Bell Witch Cave. If you've seen the film Blair Witch Project, you might be familiar with this haunted cave located in the forest just north of Nashville. The cave is found next to an old farmhouse that would haunt the Bell family in the early 1800s. John Bell expressed much concern that his neighbor, Kate Batts, had cursed him after a land dispute, and she promised to haunt him and his family. John later on died from a strange, horrifying illness, and she apparently conducted black magic from this cave. Go ahead and take a tour, but watch out. Number 8. Texas, Ghost Tracks. These train tracks just outside of San Antonio were reportedly the location of a tragic school bus accident. Many have reported seeing the ghosts of children lingering around. Here in this photo, you see the railroad crossing and what some people claim to be a ghost floating around. Number 7. Utah, Rio Grande Depot. This location is reportedly haunted by several ghosts, but the most notable one is the Purple Lady, whose orbs form a unique purple haze. The woman threw her ring onto the tracks at this depot during an argument with her husband. She later on felt bad about it and went to go retrieve it, but she was struck by a train, leading to her demise. Security guards still claim to feel her presence at this depot in Salt Lake City. Number 6. Vermont, Southern Vermont College. If you want to become a paranormal investigator, this might certainly be the place you want to get your scholarship to. Even the college webpage itself recognizes the legends of a haunting history after a murder took place in a tower near campus. Security guards at the school claim that there's a sad ghost named Anna who's made her presence rather clear. Number 5. Virginia, Peyton Randolph House. With Virginia's colonial history, it should come to no surprise that some of the first settlers are still roaming around the state. Located in Williamsburg, our nation's first capital, this building is now a historic house museum. After Peyton Randolph constructed the house in 1715, his kids began mysteriously becoming ill, or were just simply lost. Not only was this house built upon 2 Native American burial grounds, it was used as a hospital during the Civil War. Walking around the streets late at night in this historic town, many have seen ghosts. Number 4. Washington, Sorrento Hotel. Located in the city of Seattle, many claim this to be the most haunted hotel in the world. Some claim that the woman Alice B. Tonkless haunted the hotel and is seen wandering the hotel late at night. Number 3. West Virginia, Trans-Allegheny Asylum. Creepy tours are offered at this former lunatic asylum where thousands of the most mentally insane Americans were kept during the 1800s. The patients would stay here until they were safe to be introduced to society. Creepy operations like lobotomies would take place here quite often, where a part of someone's brain was removed, turning them essentially into zombies. Other treatments like electroshock were experimented with at this facility. Number 2. Wisconsin, Pfister Hotel. This extravagant hotel, located in the city of Milwaukee, was built in 1893 in Victorian style. It's rumored to be haunted by former baseball players that once stayed here while on the road, and also by the guy who built it, Charles Pfister. Is it truly haunted, or maybe just some tourists who had too much Milwaukee beer? Honorable mention to our nation's capital, District of Columbia, Ford's Theater. The most haunted place in the District of Columbia is the location of one of the most infamous assassinations in U.S. history. Ford's Theater is where Abraham Lincoln was shot in the back of the head by John Wilkes Booth on April 15, 1865. The theater hasn't quite been the same ever since, and people who tried acting here felt cold sensations run down their spines. And in 1893, the building caught on fire, killing 22 people who were working. And number 1, Wyoming, Occidental Hotel. This spooky hotel, located in the U.S.'s least populated state, was built back in the 1800s to welcome those who were heading west. It's been visited by American legends such as Theodore Roosevelt and Buffalo Bill. However, the dark past with prostitution at this location has made it teeming with ghosts. One of them still haunts the hallways with her child, and is described as a woman with long black hair wearing a spooky white gown.